the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Show, starring Junior Kekuewa Jr. Join Junior along with the Rainbow Hay Band as he makes any kind from Hawaii. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Kekuewa Jr. How's it? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. And on today's podcast, we have a special podcast today, and it's called Cutting the Cord, okay? Cutting the cord. That's right. You heard correctly, okay? Because sometimes you got to cut the cord, okay? And now this is, for many different reasons, okay? But the most significant reason, right, is because you need to, you need to preserve yourself, okay? And I'm talking about the energy, inside of you. When we say self that on this podcast, that's what we're referring to. So if you want to call it a soul, a spirit, energy, yeah, it's all of that. But you have to cut the cord. But first, okay, the attitude of gratitude. So we got to say, hey, thank you so much for joining the podcast, you guys. We're not going to go over the stats, but we have tons of new listeners in the mainland. Normally, you would think that, myself being from Hawaii, like my listenership would be like dominant in Hawaii, right? Wrong. Hey, where's the buzzer? Wrong. Okay, there we go. All right, there's the comedy, Hawaiians. There's the comedy. But no, my listeners are like worldwide, but mostly in the continental United States. And then we have countries. We have like small amounts in countries, right? And the way that this thing breaks down is like I can tell what town in Germany is listening, like what town in Poland is listening. And it's amazing. But anyway, thank you to all you guys. Mahalo from Hawaii, that means thank you. And aloha from Hawaii, that means love. That means it's a greeting, it's hello, it's goodbye, it's love, it's all of that, okay? It's a feeling. So we want to give you good feelings from the podcast. It's a law of attraction comedy podcast, so yeah, a little bit comedy. And the stories that I tell you on the podcast are stories and things from my life because I only have that experience. But I can tell you that when I started using gratitude, when I started adhering to universal principles and universal laws, okay, and you can find them. There's 12 universal laws. Go look it up. We're not going to get into all that. That's going to be boring. People go, hey, junk this podcast, and they're going to turn it off. All right, so, but yeah, when I started doing that, right around 2008, my thing with myself was like, all right, let's give this a try. Let's try this. If it doesn't work, I will never, ever, ever waste my time on this again, right? And then it started working. And what I mean by working is like my whole life changed, like everything. I used to struggle. I used to worry. Like that, right? I get bored sometimes now. I cannot lie, Hawaiians. I cannot lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I get bored. Okay, but I have ADHD, and we talk about this all the time. I did a podcast. The last podcast was about that. And, before, like when I was working in entertainment, I never dared say anything like that. Although, people knew that, hey, something about Junior is different. This guy is a little bit the kind. He's a little bit out there. You know what I mean? But that's just the way I think. Now, there's a lot of ADHD people, and I'm just going to go into this briefly, right? But there's a lot of ADHD people that are very introverted, okay? But they're like really good at certain things, okay? Research, like intellectualism, like a skilled craftsman, that kind of thing. But they're really, really introverted. And the reason why I think, like, I don't know anybody else, but, just from me. But the reason why it was for me that I was introverted, like a long time ago, right? Just a little, I want to say that I always explained it this way, that my public life is very public, right? The switch goes on, it's like, bam, showtime, right? And then this is even for the podcast, right? And then, like, when the show is done or whatever, the podcast is done or whatever I have to present is done or my social media is done, then, the switch goes off and I am very much, like sitting here learning at my workstation. I'm sitting here learning. I'm sitting here studying. I'm sitting here helping people. I'm sitting here with my clients. Everything is online now with our companies, and I'm here with my clients. Giving them insight or helping them with things because I've been there. I've done this. I mean, this is and this is essential for everyone. There's a lot of people, and they go, I don't need personal improvement. I don't need to work on myself. And okay, if you're happy with that, okay. But don't grumble about your circumstances if they turn out negative or hard or worry or hardship and all that kind of stuff. And let me tell you, Hawaiians, people look at my chapter right now in life and they go, wow, brother's doing good. Yeah, he don't need to worry about us because, we poor and, that kind of thing. Okay, so I slept on a sidewalk, right? And I have no problem saying this. I slept on a sidewalk. And my job, like at night, was to go out and look. And when I say go out, I mean go around town and look for things that I could do, right? To get off the street. And it took me I want to say about, I was on the street for about 2.5, 3 months. And then it was Section 8, and then it was Section 8 housing. And then it was, first it was a room that I was renting, right? And then it was welfare, right? And then after that, it was Section 8 housing, because then I got a better place and and that was the steps. Those were the steps. And from Section 8, then I made the next move and then the next move. And, now, now it's a very different life. Okay. But people see my life now. And then, so when I put my stuff on Facebook, those of you, I know there's some people from Facebook, and LinkedIn and TikTok, right? And when you guys, see me post stuff, my whole thing is you can do this too. This is not just me. I'm not a privileged character. I'm not special. I'm different, but I'm not special. Okay. So everybody's special. Everybody has something to offer. And it's not I can do this and you cannot. No. I show you guys this stuff because if I can, anybody can. Okay? Anybody. I swear. Anybody. And I did not believe this. And I thought, I thought I was having a good life. I was dating a bunch of chicks. I mean, I think at the time I had, at the time I was, before I saw the movie The Secret, before I had an ex, because she was part of the girls, she was Thursday, actually, right? And I had a different girlfriend for 3 years. For 3 years, I dated 6 girls, right? And she was Thursday. And slowly the other, Monday, I rested on Monday. But Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, slowly they just, it just kind of faded away because I was enjoying Thursday. So you see how now I don't mean to sound so shallow, but that's the truth. I just know my experience. And I'm going to tell you guys, because there's other people doing the same thing, right? Wondering wow, well, okay, what's going on with me, whatever. Okay. And that's not abnormal. Okay. So colonialism, the colonial one man, one woman thing. Okay. That's not natural. That is not natural. I'm just saying it's a colonial thing. It's a colonization thing. It's something that was, I want to say mandated, and we can go back to Rome for that. But I'm not going to give you the history and all of that. But what I will say is that, so Thursday and I ended up, being together and nobody else, right? And then after that, right, when the breakup happened eventually, later, then Thursday gave me this DVD called The Secret, and the rest, as they say, is history. And if you look at my book, if you want a copy of my book, just email me. I'll send you a free copy, so you don't have to go on Amazon and buy it because you belong to the podcast. Okay, we do have perks, Hawaiians. We do have perks, but I will tell you that my life changed forever because of her, and I dedicated my book to her. So if you want to, go look in my book, right, and go look at the, dedication in the first page. I also acknowledge Mike Dooley. I studied under, I did not stutter under, I did not stutter under Mike Dooley. I studied under Mike Dooley, and I acknowledge Rhonda Byrne because, it was her video, her DVD that changed my world. And I started buying her products. I started studying her stuff, and I started understanding that, hey, this is within everybody, okay? And you know what? Jesus Christ said the same thing. Jesus said the kingdom is within. He was against religion, right? got the money changers out of the temple, all that kind of stuff. The same thing with Krishna, same thing with Gautama Buddha, same thing. These people have been telling us these things like forever. Okay. And now I'm telling you on the podcast, you can do it too. All right. So let's talk about cutting the cord. Oh boy. Well, you see, I'm talking about toxic people in your life, okay? Now, I have met so many people, okay? And because I'm a healer, and when I say healer, in that sense, I make no medical claims, okay? I gotta always say that because I don't want to open myself up to lawsuits. But I'm more of a healer than anything else that I do. And I did not know I was a healer until like down the road. Okay, when I saw these little miracles pop up in my school, and this was like my second business that I started, and then I never like folded any businesses. I just added to them, and so anyway, I saw these miracles happen, and I wanted to know why, and it just kind of happened. You see, when you're seeking, or when you have that desire. Now, desire is a low vibration, okay? I don't care what you're desiring. It's a low vibration. Desire itself, okay? But I was desiring, to learn. And I was desiring to know. And I was desiring to, that kind of thing. And because I have an ADHD brain, right? Like, my brain needs a job. So I just direct my brain, okay? Anybody can direct their brain, okay? Now, thinking is a skill. The average everyday person does not really think. Okay, they don't concentrate in the true sense. What they do is they jump from thing to thing to thing. Oh, this is happening? Okay, look at this. Okay, that's happening? Look at that. It's like, bright, shiny object syndrome kind of thing, right? So they jump from thing to thing, from thought to thought to thought to thought, like that, okay? When you concentrate and focus on something, that's when you start to bring it into your world. Now, the reason why most people can't, concentrate in the true sense of the word is because of distractions. Okay. Now, if you're used to, and this is a subconscious thing, if you're used to being distracted on a level where everything is just passing in front of you, okay, you're training your subconscious mind, okay, to flash images and thoughts to you constantly. You're training your subconscious mind for that. Okay, so if you're on social media going, hey, wow, what is that? And then you look at the next post and you go, oh, damn. And you look at the next post. Here's what you're training your subconscious to do. You're training your subconscious to react on impulse. Okay? You're training your brain to that activity, okay, for that activity, but more so to that activity. So you're training your subconscious mind, right, to be like that, okay? And what do? Well, you need the next dopamine hit, right? So what do? You go back and feed it again. Your subconscious goes, hey, you need to do this. Come on, go check your feed. Boom. And then you go through the reaction, and you become reactionary. Okay, now how do you get out of this? Well, the fastest way that I've ever seen, and trust me, I've been down the rabbit hole. I've tried so many methods. I've done tapping. I've done meditation. I've done all this stuff, right? Your voice gets you there the fastest. Your voice will calm you. Okay, now I use this, with two of my companies, respectively. And in one of my companies, it's done for singing. Okay, and then we take those people when they get confident. It's like, I determined in the very first session, like, okay, what are you really here for? You want to be a real good singer, or are you here for confidence? Because a lot of people, hear about the confidence aspect of it, okay? And so what happens is we make them confident there first. And then we say, all right, you know what? If you want it, now that you're confident, what are you going to do with it? Now that you're confident, what are you going to do with your newfound confidence? With your new chill, with your new settling, with your new calm, right? Okay, so the life coaching company has the answer for that. And then we put you through the 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars are affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, right? But the vocalization is just at the singing school because it works on singers like really well and they get really, really confident. Okay, but if singing is the only thing you want to do, okay, good, then you're good. But let's say you're an attorney, or let's say you're a business owner, or let's say that you're whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're an executive secretary, right? Let's say you're a legal secretary, whatever. Okay, so now what are you going to do with that confidence? Well, you could just be a good, karaoke singer, or like singing in your car by yourself or for your own enjoyment, sure. Or you could take that confidence and apply it to your life in a bigger way. Okay. And that's what Here For You Life Coaching is all about. If you want the website, it's hereforyoulifecoaching.com. Okay. And if you want to write to me, I'll give you my book for free. It's Junior at hereforyoulifecoaching.com. Just shoot me an email. That's all you got to do. Okay. If you want to go to the website to sign up for, like the podcast notifications and stuff, just go to jrkjr.com and you can fill out the form, put your email in there. We're not going to send you a bunch of commercials, but you will get notified when a podcast comes out. All right. So now cutting the cord, right? This is very important because here's why. Human beings link up with each other energetically. Okay. Now I'm going to talk on the energetic level, and I know this gets a little deep and people are like, what? What's he talking about? What is this? Energetics. Okay. So on the energetic level, and this is what the voice does. This is why the voice heals. This is why the voice calms. Okay. And I'm not talking about talking. I'm talking about doing a note with velocity, like pushing out tone to activate the neurotransmitters in your brain. Okay. And that kind of gets involved. So we're not going to go into that. But I'm just going to tell you that cutting the cord is because if you don't cut the cord, those people will drag you down. Those people will pull you down. Because human beings link up energetically, your energy will start to be affected by their energy. Number one, you're going to get drained. Okay. Number one, you're going to feel the drain. Maybe in the beginning, you're not going to understand why. In the beginning, it's like, I talked to Joe and now I'm all burnt out now. Like, man, after I talked to him, I got all depressed. That kind of thing, right? Okay. So what's really happening is on the energetic level, on the level that you cannot see, okay, but it is on a level that you can feel. Okay. But you can't really see it. You're not really aware of it in the moment. But after the conversation or after the interaction or after the whatever, after the party, after whatever, the visit, whatever, you start to feel it and you go, oh man, like, okay. Now here's the difference. So one of the differences is you feel like you've something has been taken away. Okay. Now, with a positive person, with let's say somebody who's going to add to your life, when you finish the interaction with somebody like that, what you do is you walk away full. You walk away like, wow, yeah, I can't wait till I see this guy again. I can't wait till I'm with this girl again, because this girl filled me up. This guy filled me up, right? And when I say filled me up, I'm just saying like they gave you such good vibes that you walk away going, I cannot wait to see them again. I can't wait to be with them again, right? I got this girl that, she's one of my clients. And she has come such a long way in a short period of time that I can't wait to see her again. Because I see the improvement, like every single session, like confidence levels, like boom, 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 just going up like that, and it makes me full. Because here's the thing, Hawaiians, you cannot make someone confident, okay? And then it doesn't benefit you or it doesn't affect you. There's no such thing. Okay. So let's say, for example, let me give you an example. So let's say that you work with somebody, and let's say that through whatever means, conversation, examples, you're sending them videos that you saw that boost confidence. There's no such thing as you making them confident. And then when you interact with them next time, that you don't feel good. Okay. Let me say that again. There's no such thing as you helping somebody being confident, and then when you interact with them next time, that you don't get the blessing back. Okay? Everything works two ways. Okay? Every single thing works two ways. You cannot be generous with someone, and it's not going to be from the same person, okay? But you cannot be generous and not receive rewards. You cannot. People go, oh, wow, uncle, like, I was just talking to somebody, and I told him that, I bought this girl a guitar. I told him that story. So here's a short story. Okay, I'll tell you guys this story. So this girl's mom wrote to me on a website, right? And she's like, "Oh, I was wondering if you have scholarships." This was for my voice school, that business. And she goes, "Oh, I was wondering if you have scholarships. The price is like, too much for us, but my girl is really talented." So I said, "Oh, okay." So she brought her daughter, right? I said, just bring her down. Let me audition her. I said audition. I was going to help her anyway, because I've made it a part of my business model, like from day one, that the people that couldn't afford, I remember this girl, right? And she was having a hard time. And the reason why she was having a hard time is because she had several children and she was putting them through whatever their interests were, karate and, this and that, whatever. And one of her girls was really talented in singing. So she wanted to, bring her to the school. And she couldn't afford, whatever the price was back then. So I told her, hey, you know what? At the house, we eat peanut butter. Why not bring one big, family-sized peanut butter every week when you come? And then pretty soon I had too much peanut butter. I had an abundance of peanut butter, right? And that's okay. Switch. We go switch the kind. Next week, go bring bread. Go bring, whatever, right? That was no problem. It was cheaper than I don't know what it was at the time, $200 or $150, whatever it was a month, right? So, and for me, right, God blesses me continuously, okay? And it happened in 2008. It started in 2008 when I started to realize these things. Now, when I look before 2008, I go, you know what? God was always there for me. Every time, like when I was sleeping on the sidewalk way back in the early 80s, right? God was there. God was there because nobody bothered me. Nobody ever bothered me. And I was nobody. I was nothing. I was absolutely, and when I say nothing, I just mean I wasn't popular. Nobody knew who I was. It wasn't like that. And I was sleeping on the exit door on the sidewalk of the movie theater. And I wasn't a thing back then, okay, or a public figure or anything. I mean, all of that is brand new. Since then anyway, right? You know what I'm saying. But it was just me right there on the side, just by myself, because when you walked around the corner to the front of the movie theater, there was like about 20 people sleeping there. But I didn't want to be with everybody, right? I wanted to be by myself. And I'm like that. I'm a lone wolf, okay? I've always been a lone wolf. I think the fact that I'm an only child kind of contributed to that. But I'm a lone wolf. I don't need nobody. I don't need anything. I don't need, when I say need, okay, I'm talking about need, right? I don't need. I enjoy, I want, but I don't need. Okay, I can go by myself in the mountains. I used to do this when I was a kid. This is just a side. We're going to the left, Hawaiians. Here we go. Okay, when I was a kid, when I was I was 13, I used to ask my mom to drop me off at Boy Scout camp. Now, Boy Scout camp was up in Waimea Canyon on the island that I'm from. And instead of going to the Boy Scout camp, like right away, she would drop me off. This is the old days now. My mom was good at this. She was good at letting me do my thing, right? Now, my dad was working. He had no time to bother with my foolishness, right? And so my mom would go up and drop me off up in the mountain, in the canyon. Okay, now these are paved roads. It's not like, I'm not trying to paint a picture like, out in the wilderness. But this was, the roads was good. There was a lodge. There were, people, tourists kind of thing going up there. But what I did was, instead of going to the Boy Scout camp first, I would walk down into the canyon and spend time alone thinking, okay? And the things that I thought about when I was 13 materialized on the Waikiki stage with my Waikiki show. It materialized with my journey. And when I look back, I go, wow, because I knew nothing about the law of attraction back then. Absolutely nothing. Okay, all I knew was that there was this feeling that I had in my body, right, that told me that one day you can sing. One day you can be a famous singer or whatever, right? Like, famous is relative, right? If you're really popular in your friend group, then I guess you're famous, right? Or whatever. And I never, although there was a time that I tried to get across the water and go do, entertainment in the mainland, right? With my best friend. Um, we didn't make it because we had no numbers to justify an investment by the people that invest in your shows, kind of thing, right? So that was the end of that. And then my friend died of cancer, okay, which was very, it was, oh man, I can't even tell you how painful that was to go through 2 years of cancer before he passed away. It was a very strenuous time. And so, but what I'm trying to say is that these things that I was feeling when I was 13, everything got laid out like boom, 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 boom. When I was 13, I used to go to the ranch, right? I fell in love with horses. Guess what? The horse came, right? And if you want to see it, go on my Facebook. Go look. It's Junior Kekuewa Junior.1, I believe, on Facebook. Check it out. And you'll see folders. You go look in the photos. There's folders of my horse, and I had to wait. Okay, because God is not going to give you everything like right now. Okay, and you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to like do something. Okay, but here's the most important thing. You're going to have to think about it. It's going to have to be on your mind, even in the back file cabinet. Okay, and when you start to feel these things and when you start to think about these things, it will materialize. Because at some point, you got to sit down and look around you and go, wow. Yeah, and you got to see your blessings. And you got to realize that these are blessings. When I sit in my office, right, I look around and my guitars are all on stands and I have collector guitars. And I look around and I go, wow, yeah, that was the dream at one point. That was the dream at one point. That was the dream at one point. And it's all here. And I'm not flexing, Hawaiians. I'm saying that when you look around, you'll see the things that you were thinking about too. And it depends on what you're thinking about. Okay, so like if you was thinking about, I don't know, if you was thinking about, let's say, whatever, fishing, right? There's probably a fishing net in your garage. There's probably tackle and poles in your garage. There's probably a truck, a lifted Yoda, right? A lifted Yoda with four-wheel drive. Or in Hawaii, we say that. I'm talking about a Toyota. Hawaii is all about, Toyota Tacomas, right? But there's probably a truck that you use for fishing, right? Like, so you're living a fisherman's life. You see what I'm saying? And these are the things that you attracted, but these are the things that make you happy. Not everybody wants a sports car. Not everybody wants, their own business. Not everybody wants, a new house. Not everybody wants, okay? Not everybody wants the same thing. Otherwise, this world would be a very different place, right? It would be crazy. Okay, but yeah, some people are really, really happy. I have a friend. He's very wealthy, and he has a small, little, tiny Chevy that he drives, right? The thing is, so it looks like a matchbox car. The tire is like I don't know. I could throw that tire like a few yards. It's so small, right? But that's good for him. He's happy with that. And you know what his mission is? His mission is to donate $1 million to the National Wildlife Foundation when he dies. And that's his mission. And that's his life. That's what he wants to do. See, is he going to do it? Oh, yeah. Does he have the money to do it? Oh, yeah. And we have dinner once a month, right? Because that's my buddy. That's my friend. Okay, so, and well, one of them, right? Okay, my circle is so tight, Hawaiians, I can't even tell you. I count them on one hand, and I still got fingers left. See, but what I'm really saying, right, is that when you have, when you have this awareness that you can see these things and you can see it in real time and you can predict what you're going to have because you know what effort to produce to get the result that you desire. Okay, follow along, Hawaiians. I know it's kind of out there, right? Then at that point, right, you look around you and you go, oh, wow, yeah, I am in control. Yeah, life happens for me. It doesn't happen to me. Okay, when life happens to you, it's called victim mentality. Okay, if you just think you're living a random existence, you're living in victim mentality, right? Because, oh, this just happened. Oh, it's because of that I'm like this. It's because of that I got whatever, cheated on at the store with my receipt or whatever, right? I'm just saying. That's victim mentality. Okay, not once have I ever looked at my receipt and go, "Hey, I got shorted." You know what I do, Hawaiians? I don't even take receipts. I tell the cashier, and if you know where I shop, if you're one of the guys that know me and go to the stores, ask them, does Junior ever take a receipt? I never take a receipt. Okay, it's not because I'm flexing or anything like that. It's because I don't like the receipt paper. It gives me the creeps. That crackly thing. I hate that. Okay, but I don't want to see what I use. I don't want to see the money I circulate. And that's another thing. I don't spend money, I circulate it. When you start thinking like that, circulate money, money comes back. If you just spend, right, that tells your subconscious that you're just giving out, it's not coming back. It's gone. Okay? All right, couple lessons there. Couple little tips there. Okay, couple little hacks. But here's the thing, right? When you are aware of that and when you have that awareness and then you connect with someone who brings you down or you connect with someone, they use the term Debbie Downer for girls, right? Debbie, if you're with a Debbie Downer and all she does is bring you down, okay? Because all she does is express victim mentality, or all she does is bitch about somebody, that did her wrong or whatever, or complains or talks negative about people or, whatever. There was a time when I encountered that every day. And I started engaging in it because I worked with these guys or worked around these. I mean, I had my own companies, but part-time, I worked in an industry where these guys would just talk about people and they would preface it with, so-and-so, nice guy, but, and then the hatred came out, but nice guy always prefaced everything, so-and-so, nice guy. But you know what, and then that kind of thing. And I started participating with that. And then I did not understand for the longest time, for years, I did not understand why when I left, I was so drained. I didn't understand that. So I thought it was because I put out a lot of energy during the show. I was doing a radio show. But I did not understand that, no. It's not just the show that's doing this to you. It's you doing this to you by engaging in that energy that is negative with these other people. Okay. And it's not that they're bad people or anything like that. You don't have to be a bad person to engage in a low vibrational activity. Okay. Because sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. Sometimes you're not even aware. And that's why I use the term awareness. Okay. So I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just telling you what I experienced in my life and what happened in my experience. But you don't even have to be, right? So just know that you can be a great person and have bad habits. Do I have bad habits? Oh, yeah, always. Yeah, I guarantee I drink too much coffee. I try to slow down on other things that I do that, like I used to have a beer like before I go to bed, just to unwind and relax and whatever, and then pretty soon it's like, bro, because I have to talk to myself, because I have to keep myself in line, because nobody tells me what to do. So I take the responsibility of doing it myself. And sometimes it works, and sometimes, it kind of goes over the cliff a little bit, and I got to reel myself back. But I got to have these talks with myself. And it kind of goes like, bro, what are you doing? Come on. This is not, good for you, or whatever, you should be doing this, or you should be applying your, time to that, or whatever it is. So sometimes it's dating too much. Sometimes it's, going out and seeing, maybe spending too much money on dinners and whatever and having a good time, like, with girls and stuff. And maybe sometimes it's, going out with the guys and the brothers and buying them lunches and stuff. I do a lot of lunches. I do a lot of client lunches and stuff. So sometimes it's like, bro, you're spending too much money. What you doing? Pull back a little bit, right? So anything can lead to excess of anything. Okay, because it becomes a habit, because it becomes part of your paradigm, and your subconscious goes, "Oh, we're buying lunches. Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay," and then you start making appointments, and you start, "Hey, bro, you like have lunch? Hey, we'll go. Whatever." Okay, I'm just giving you an example. It could be anything. It could be smoking weed. It could be whatever, anything. It could be prescription drugs. It could be Doesn't have to be drugs. It could be working out in the gym to excess. Some guys do that. They go overboard in the gym. I mean, so moderation is key. My parents always told me, like, moderation, moderation. Well, good luck with moderation with a person with ADHD. Okay, because what we have to do, and I have both forms, what we have to do is we have to channel that energy in a direction. So, like, okay, this week we're going to produce, podcasts, right? And then I might do 15 podcasts and then they archive them and, set them up on the calendar, that kind of thing. And okay, next week, what are we doing? We tired to do podcasts. Okay, next week, we're going to produce music. Okay, boom, 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 like that. So I'm just saying, right? Now, let's get back to the original topic of cutting the cord and the energetics. Now, when you start getting pulled down from people, okay, and hopefully there's people on the podcast going, yeah, that's me. Yeah, oh, wow. Like, okay, if this is new to you, okay, here you go. So when you get pulled down by people like that, right, it's because of the interaction. And sometimes you're not even aware. Sometimes you think it's something else. See, I thought it was all the energy that I put out, because I used to do high energy radio programs and I was a voice actor. Okay, a lot of people call me a radio personality, but they're not really, I want to say, accurate in their description because I was portraying something else. I was portraying a character. It wasn't like me, but it was me portraying something else for comedy. Okay, so I was a voice actor. A lot of people think I'm a comedian. I love to make people laugh, but I'm not a comedian. I cannot hold a candle to these stand-up comics and stuff like that. That's not who I am. That's not me. I'm a voice actor, okay? And yes, I do voice actor comedy, but I do radio comedy because it's so much easier for me to get in my head and bring out of my head something that will make somebody laugh and put scenarios together in my head because that's what's happening. I'm imagining a situation like I'm watching a comedy, but I'm articulating it in real time. So I'm channeling the comedy, so to speak, right? And I don't mean channeling as in witchcraft. I just mean like I'm just in my head, the movie is rolling, right? So if I start talking about, I don't know, somebody at the beach and, doing whatever, something stupid, right? In my head, the camera is rolling. The movie, I should say, is rolling, right? And I'm just articulating it in real time and it ends up to be hilarious. Why? Because my brain can do that. Okay, so, and I'm not flexing. I'm just saying every comedian that you see, their brain works like that. But most comedians write their material out. They write it down. Okay, for me, that's too much work. Too much work, Hines. I don't write. Although I did write comedy for a very famous comedian in Hawaii. I wrote part of one of his projects. Okay, and I assisted in the writing part. But if it's for me, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take the time to write it out. So and I did stand-up comedy. I did a routine. I built a routine. I wrote a routine. I memorized the routine, and I did it at every show, right? Just to do the routine because I'm a singer. I'm really a singer. But yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do A, B, C, D, whatever, all those things. Yeah, I can do. But, it's things that I enjoy. Now, when you have someone who's draining those things from you, okay, when your energy is like you're just getting really like, oh man, can I handle this already? What do? Well, a lot of times we don't cut the cord with people because we want to give it another chance. We really like them, right? Or sometimes we love them. Okay. And then, so we don't want to really cut them off. We end up minimizing things. We end up limiting the interactions. Because we know we're going to, so-and-so called, wants to get together. I know it's going to be bad. Oh my God. And then you go and then, right. And then you feel that vibe or whatever, and you get drained. And then you're sitting there listening to somebody dump, what we call being an emotional tampon, right? And guys do this all the time. But that's for a relationship podcast, right? When you become the emotional tampon to the girl you're trying to date, and she's over there talking about, her last experience and her ex and what happened and all that, and you're sitting there going, yeah, oh, really? Oh, You're being an emotional tampon. Don't do that. Okay? Just don't do that. But that's not a podcast, Hawaiians. That's not a podcast. But what I'm talking about, okay, is anyone in your life, and I don't care if they're related to you or not by blood. I don't care. Okay? Now, personally, in my life, I've had to do a lot of cord cutting. Okay? Now, here's how you do the cord cutting, right? You ask God for assistance in that because you want to cut the cord. In Hawaii, we use the term pono. Pono is doing it in the proper way that is conducive to spiritual oneness, to spiritual health. Okay, and this is, I'm not trying to preach Bible or anything like that, okay? But what I'm saying is, for me, I talked to Archangel Michael, okay, when I cut the cord, and I ask Michael in his assistance, right, to cut this cord in the best way, okay? Because you don't want to cut the cord in a negative way. Okay, if you want to cut somebody off and you like tell them off and you like whatever, disconnect from them and they're kind of having a WTF moment and they don't know what's going on or whatever, okay, and you do that, now you have cut the cord in a non-pono way, or let's say a it's hard to define pono, but in English, right? In English, but in the best way possible, okay? So you want to do it in an amicable way. There we go. Amicable. Okay. Look it up. Some of the guys in my podcast go, oh, Unc, sometimes you throw down the $10 words. But yeah, in a good way, in a loving way, in a way out of love. And there's so many family members that I had to cut the cord, right? Because they were doing things to me behind my back that were like, oh man, because things come back to me. There's so many people, and by the same token, I have to watch what I say about anything because word just goes boom, 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 like that. And then eventually it comes back around to me. And I learned this years and years ago when I was just becoming popular in Hawaii. And when that happened, right, and the word came like right back to me, I was like, oh boy, I gotta watch what I say because it just goes and somebody mentioned it to me in conversation once, and I'm like, I said that like 3 months ago and I remembered who I said it to, right? And so when that happened, right, I started to experiment with the guys that used to gossip that I used to have to work with, right? And so I used to manufacture stories, and sure enough, those stories came all the way back around, and I heard back, right? And so I knew that I had this little circuit going. So whatever I wanted to feed them, I fed them, and that information went around to whatever, right? And I always heard back. So that taught me a lesson. Number one, it taught me watch what you say. Number two, it taught me, well, if you really wanna throw these guys for a loop, all you gotta do is tell them stories, and then boom, it'll go all around. So I had my own little broadcast network, right? And I mean, they call it the coconut wireless, and that's mouth to ear. And the story changes, and sure, by the time it got back to me, it was a little bit different, but it was deliberate, you see. And I did this at first as an experiment, and then I thought, hey, this is kind of fun. We'll have fun with this, and I started like doing all this kind of stuff. But here's the thing, right? The lesson is you have to cut the cord in the most pono way, okay? Now, I've had to cut the cord with many family members, okay? And it's just because. So here's what happens, right? In Hawaii, we say that people suffer from the A'ama crab syndrome. Okay, now the A'ama crab in Hawaii is a small black crab that crawls on the rocks. And when you go to beaches and stuff, you can see these crabs and they come out and they crawl on the rocks. Now, here's what they say. They call it the A'ama crab syndrome. And here's the syndrome. There's a bunch of crabs in the bucket, okay? And once one crab starts to make his way out of the bucket, the rest of the crabs go, no, you belong with us, and they pull him back down. Okay? Sound familiar? Yeah, there you go, Hawaiians. See? right there, right? Okay, so you've been the victim of that, and you're in Chicago. You've been the victim of that, and you're in Lebanon listening to us. We do have Lebanon listeners. Thank you very much, you guys. We send you aloha from Hawaii. So you've been subjected to that. You just probably call it something else. Okay? But that's human nature. That happens. So when that happens, I'm here to tell you that when that happens, you need to cut the cord. When you see evidence of things like that, so I'm talking about betrayal. I'm talking about, people who are supposed to be your blood and they're against you, or they're conspiring against you, or they're building, bullcrap against you, right? And Hawaiians, this happened to me from many family members, not just one. And it started when I started to blow up in popularity way back, 1999. There you go. In 1990, there was a little bit of it. There was a little bit of it, but the big stuff was in 1999 and just went boom. Okay. Now, in 1990, it kind of started, and I started, and I was actually, being pulled down by people within the organization that I was working for in the mid 90s. It was actually mid 90s. And so that taught me, right, that, wow, if this ever gets any bigger, or if you get any more, if you climb up the bucket any higher, you're really going to get dragged down. So it taught me how to manage, right? It taught me how to manage these things. And then pretty soon, right, I started, when 1999 hit and I started to go boom, right, I experienced a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff was mentally, I want to say the pain was mental. It was the thinking. It was the stuff that I had to go through, the mental pressure. And I'm not just, this is not just entertainment. This is mental pressure when you're climbing the corporate ladder. This is mental pressure when you're starting your own business. This is mental pressure. Mental pressure is anything that you think about and it's painful. And you have to deal with something and it's painful. It could be, during the pandemic, people's businesses were like shut down completely. I was lucky I went online. Okay, so my business was, we just had a little overhead that we had to dump, with an empty office for a while, right? But I'm talking about people who lost their business. I'm talking about people who got really affected by it, okay? Restaurants that went out of business, stores that went out of business, stuff like that. And these people go through some excruciating mental pain, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I've been there, okay? And if this is you right now, I feel you, and I can help you, okay? Just write to me, shoot me an email. I'll help you, okay? But here's the thing, right? Cutting the cord alleviates all of that. When you cut the cord in love. When you cut the cord in respect. It's about love and respect, or it's about nothing. Okay. Now, some of the people, I cut the cord, but I didn't do it with love. I didn't do it with anger. I didn't do it with against them or outright or striking out towards them. I just disconnected. I'm like, nope, these guys are full of crap. And that's exactly how I felt. Exactly. Okay. But I didn't strike out. I didn't, I was like, yeah, aloha, yeah. Oh, mahalo, thank you. Okay, bye. That kind of attitude. It's like, yep, okay. Because I saw certain people in my life, right, that I had known for a long, long time. And as the years went by, I just saw them get more bitter and more bitter and more bitter. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't want to touch that. It's too, ooh. Because it will pollute you and your energy, Hawaiians, okay? You got to understand that. So if you're around someone who's toxic to themselves, they're going to be toxic to you. Now, I'm not saying not to help them. I'm not saying not to have empathy. I had empathy for these guys that I cut out of my life, including my family members. I had empathy. I'm like, yeah, I feel you. You're having a miserable life. Yeah, I understand. I understand you don't like me deep inside and you're just portraying this, hey, Junior, right on, like, hey, I love you, cuz, I love you, bro, or whatever, right? But inside, right, there's something different going on, and you find out about it, and then What? You're going to take it? Okay. Hawaiians, if that happens and you take it, it's your fault. Okay? Write that down. It's your fault. If you have knowledge of something, right, that is like not in your best interest and you go ahead and get involved anyway and you go play the game anyway, guess what? Yeah, it's going to be your fault, okay? So, for just because of that, right? Just because of that, you have to abstain. You have to get away from it. You have to disconnect from it. You have to not engage with it. And that will save you a whole bunch of energy. And guess what you do with the energy that's not drained? Yeah, you do positive stuff. Go build your business. Go work on your, whatever. Go love your kids. Go love your wife, your girlfriend, your side action, whatever. Yeah, I said side action. I mean, hey, this is a real podcast. This is about real life stuff, okay? A lot of my clients have side actions. All right, okay. I'm not judging. I'm not a judge. Okay? But like I said earlier in the podcast, this monogamy thing is not a natural thing for human beings, okay? You can be indoctrinated into it and believe it so all you want, okay? I'm just saying, if that was the case, 50% of marriages would not be broken, okay? Marriage is broken. Marriage is totally broken. The only time I would get married, okay, and I'll tell you this straight, is towards the end of my life, okay, right before I die, right? I'll get married. I'll get married to transfer all my assets because I'm leaving and you can't take it with you. Okay? You can't take it to heaven. You can't take it to what there is no hell. Don't worry about that. All right. You know what hell is? I'll tell you what heaven and hell is, Hawaiians. Okay? Hell is what you put yourself through right now. Hell is what you make yourself go through because of your choice of thoughts. Okay? Thoughts become things. And if you start worrying about something, guess what you're doing? You're becoming a magnet to that negativity. You're bringing it into your life. Now, it works the other way around, okay? If you're grateful, like every day, all day long, and I'm not a saint, Hawaiians, I'm not a saint, okay? So I engage in low vibrational activities too, because, everything goes two ways, okay? So I'm not here preaching like I'm all good and, no. Please understand that I'm a human. Okay? I'm a human being. I'm just like everybody else. Okay? My vibration goes from good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. That's how it is. But you only need to be 51% good. You only need to put yourself across the line, 1%, so that the majority is good. You see? But that's 1%, Hawaiians. You don't have to be 80% positive or 80% saintly or whatever you want to call it. Right? I'm just saying, Hawaiians. All right. So, but here's your big fat but, Hawaiians, okay? But when you have knowledge of this, when you are aware of this, okay, then the game changes. Then you have control. Then people with toxic energy cannot bring you down because what happens? As soon as you get around somebody like that, what are you doing in your head? You're going, no, when they're talking to you, right? And you don't hang out, you look at your watch, you go, oh, excuse me, you know what? I got to get home because I have an appointment. Or excuse me, I gotta go take care of this, but hey, nice seeing you. Aloha, whatever. Hey, love you, take care, hug, whatever, and disconnect. It's like that. It's not animosity. There's no evil intent. There's no animosity. There's no holding anything against them. It's like, yeah, because especially if they're family members and you originally love them, right? You got to be true. You got to be true to yourself. You love these people. It's just you can't be around them. Why? Because they bring you down. Because they do stuff to you, behind or let's say without your knowledge that you find out about and you go, oh man, I'm not going to be a part of that, right? So I'm sure you've been there. And I'm sure that these things have crossed your mind before, okay? I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter if it's your best friend. It doesn't matter if it's your family, your blood relatives. It doesn't matter if it's your parents. It doesn't matter if it's your aunties, your uncles, your grandparents, whatever. Great-grandparents, it doesn't matter, okay? But if you feel like that and your energy starts becoming drained like that, okay, You need to take care of it, and you need to disconnect. Okay? And it's called cutting the cord because there's a cord there, because there's an emotional attachment. There's that cord there that either you were good friends or you looked up to somebody or you're related to that person, and there's an emotional tie there. There's an emotional cord there, and it needs to be cut. Period. Point blank. Just like that. But when you do it, okay, and here's the thing. When you do it, you have to do it in a pono way. You have to do it in the best way possible, and you have to do it with love and respect, okay? Because if you do it with anything else, if you do it with animosity, you do it with hatred, you do it with anything negative, you're going to get that back. And the worst thing, Hawaiians, is when... Oh, sorry, Hawaiians, I got to go. Yeah, the worst thing is like coming back pot. Yeah, that thing will bite you in the whole kole. Yeah, for you guys outside Hawaii, that means bite you in your butt. All right, here we go. Hey, want to thank Brother Randy and Sister Jerry over there at Island Club and Spa. And Kaka'ako, beautiful Kaka'ako. Also, the Voice Master family of service companies. And we'd like to acknowledge the music of Brother Darren Junaid at afmhawaiimusic.com. Check it out. Yeah. Until next time, I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. saying mahalo and aloha.